Hello, this is Dieu-Le-Veut. If you're a new listener, you're very welcome, and of course to all regular listeners, many thanks for coming back. Somebody asked me the other day, how can we heal the world? Well, he used riper language than that, and I can understand his growing frustration. However, I explained to him, if we want to put the world to rights, we have to put ourselves to rights first. Now, before you switch off, that's not just one of those patient, strong, well-meaning but meaningless platitudes like motherhood and apple pie. There is a way to do it, and that's what I'm going to explain all about in this video. I'm going to show you how the healing begins within us, and that when we heal ourselves, we fire up the seed of the energetic flower of life and cause it to bloom. Then our daisy flower will join up with the others to become part of the garden of those fellow travellers doing the same inner work across the daisy chain network of the energetic web. And gradually the healing will spread across the whole of the earth. So today I'm going to teach you this simple to practice technique to do just that. And once you're familiar with it, you'll be able to use it as your own, very own personal rocket ship to take you in inner space to wherever you want to go. But where is this rocket ship? I hear you asking. Is it parked outside on your lawn, or is it in your backyard? No, it's much closer to you than that. You'll find it in your own DNA. One of its names is the Macabre. So first I'll be explaining what the Macabre is and how it works, and then I'll go on to talk you through how to find it within yourself and how to use it. So let's start at the beginning. I first came upon the Macabre about 13 years ago, but I thought it seemed a bit too new agey for me. I'm one of those really annoying sorts who always needs my beliefs to be, somewhat evidence-based anyway. In the case of anything of the mystical nature, I need to be able to find it rooted down in either mythology, alchemy, or sacred geometry. I wasn't getting any of that with the Macabre then. However, I'm getting all three now, and the practical experience of it too, so I have no idea why it took me 13 years. But anyway, here we are. I was reminded again of the Macabre more recently when I began to notice an odd phenomenon. Sometimes when I awoke in the mornings, I'd open my eyes and look up, and I'd see a grid of light on the ceiling. It was, I now know, all around me, but it was most visible to me then on my white ceiling. Although one time I jumped out of bed and threw open my window to see this huge light grid sparkling in the sun and reaching at least as far as the eucalyptus trees about 25 meters away. I didn't try to find out what it was because I didn't think anyone would know. So I just swept it under my mental rug. But at the same time, I had the gut feeling that the knowledge about it would come to me when the time was right. Well, that right time finally came around a month or so ago. I'd been feeling out of sorts, so I journeyed in the traditional shamanic way, by the beat of the drum, to ask for healing. When I got there, one of my spirit guides told me that I needed to protect myself from all the harmful frequencies we're being subjected to increasingly these days. He said, "It's your phone." But my feeling afterwards was that it wasn't just about phones and masks and meters. I then went on to discover that there is a thinning of the Earth's magnetic field, which scientists know about, although they may not realise that this thinning is letting through cosmic rays that we'd normally not be exposed to. So I started to do some research to find a solution to electromagnetic and cosmic ray pollution. First, I came across Faraday cages, and then I very quickly discarded that idea. I would have needed these protective mesh cages in every room of the house, and apart from it being totally unpractical, it would also have been prohibitively expensive. And even then, once I'd left the house, I'd have been unprotected again. So I needed a cheaper and more permanent solution. I was already practicing a form of psychic protection at night to shield myself from lower field vampiric entities. I would visualize myself surrounded with an etheric structure like a temple. So one night I decided to hang imaginary Faraday mesh curtains on the inside of that structure. And it was only then that I began to notice that I was hanging them on an existing web-like grid. Long story short, and with the guidance of one helpful friend in particular, the brilliant Daisy Foss of the Daisy Centres, I learned what this web-like grid actually is. It's a sort of Metatron's cube, and it manifests as a 3D six-pointed Star of David, a star tetrahedron with its upper and lower halves spinning in opposite directions. This light ship is inbuilt into our own DNA. It just needs to be acknowledged and engaged with to activate it, to turn on its boosters. And it's totally indestructible. Unlike one of Elon Musk's rockets, for example, it will not suffer from unscheduled rapid disassembly just a few minutes after launch. As I said, this starship of inner space used to be known as the Macabre, and it comes from the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic language. But the Hebrews also knew about it and referred to it in the Old Testament as a chariot. I think the Macabre is the Chariot of Fire of William Blake's hymn, Jerusalem. Knowing that Blake was an initiate of the mysteries, I wouldn't be at all surprised to discover that he knew all about the Macabre, and he referred to it as a chariot. This chariot of fire cannot burn your physical body, but it does turn to ash all that no longer serves you in the mental and emotional fields of your aura. So it is the ultimate spiritual sort of light for purification purposes. The alchemists of old knew this light as the secret fire. As I describe in my book, The Sacred Sex Rites of Ishtar, these natural philosophers identified 4 kinds of fire. First, there's elementary fire, like the flames of a campfire. Then there's celestial fire, like the fire of the sun. Then there's the central fire, which is likened to the fire burning at the centre of the Earth's core and at the centre of every atom. And then finally, there's the secret fire of the Macabre, which was only revealed to the initiates of the mysteries. Mythologists also recognize this secret fire as the fire that Prometheus stole from the gods. It is the fire that Vulcan used to form the thunderbolts of Jupiter, and it is the fire of the golden throne of Zeus. The French philosopher Dom Pernetti wrote the following: "The true nature of the secret fire has been concealed in myths and legends down through the ages. In allegories and fables, the philosophers have given this secret fire the names of sword, lance, arrows, and javelin." So this gives more sense to William Blake's verse in the hymn, Jerusalem. "Bring me my bow of burning gold. Bring me my arrows of desire. Bring me my spear, O clouds unfold. Bring me my chariot of fire." I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. That poem was not about building a literal new city of Jerusalem on England's soil. Jerusalem was a metaphor for the building of the healing daisy chain web that comes from sparking up our own inner starships, the Chariot of Fire, the Macabre. The word itself, Macabre, comes from ancient Egyptian. In the language of the hieroglyphs, Mer meant light, and Ka, pronounced car, meant vehicle, funnily enough. Ba, as in Bar Black Sheep, is the overarching cosmic soul body that forms the daisy chain web. It also seems to me that the Macabre was the barque of Isis that sailed the Milky Way. For a future video, I will be revisiting the sacred geometry of the story of Noah's Ark, because I'm convinced the Macabre was that ark too. The animals went in 2 by 2, just like the paired chromosomes of DNA. The biblical Noah's Ark actually came from a much older Sumerian myth called the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the oldest mythological hero that we know about. In this long epic poem, he is treading the wheel of the constellations of the zodiac in the heavens to find his ancient ancestor who had saved his people from a great flood by building an ark. It is a myth, a star story, not a story about a flood on Earth. We also find this chariot in the tarot as the 7th card of the major arcana. This chariot card is associated with the astrological sign of Cancer. It's only relatively recently that the sign of Cancer has come to be symbolised by a crab. Before it was a crab, it was a boat, a barque, an ark. Cancer used to be signified by a huge ship called the Argo Navis, the Argo of Jason and the Argonauts, who set out to win the Golden Fleece. Now, I think we can easily make the case for the Macabre also being the Ark of the Covenant, the ark or boat of the promise of God. A covenant is much more than just a promise. It is a contract between two people. We carry our contract with our Creator within our own DNA, and we just need to learn how to activate it. Like Arthur, another mythological hero. The 6th century bard Taliesin composed a poem about King Arthur and his eventful voyage to spiritual enlightenment in his ship Prydwen. On the Glastonbury Zodiac, which is a huge 10 miles in diameter earthwork on the Somerset Levels in England, Cancer is shown by a large boat, which we refer to as Arthur's ship. So the clues have always been around us. It just took me a while to be able to plait together the mythological and alchemical strands that root it, like supply lines, to bring it new energy and understanding in every age. And that brings me on to the 3rd strand of the plait, the sacred geometrical evidence, which proves that we don't have to build this chariot, boat, ark or starship, or wait for it to descend from the skies or swing low, sweet chariot. It is already within us. The other day, I came upon a study by the brilliant polymath Robert Edward Grant. He has discovered that when you apply sacred geometrical principles to the structure of DNA, you can see how the Macabre is built into it. It is what scientists have called up until now junk DNA, because they didn't know its function or purpose. It always makes me laugh when scientists don't know what something is, they just discard it as junk, instead of saying, let's just park that and come back to it later. But anyway, I'll read you a few lines from Grant's study. Although it will make it easier for you to understand if you know first that a dodecahedron is a 12-sided shape and that an icosahedron is a 20-sided shape. So Grant writes, whereas the current understanding of DNA is based upon a stacking array of dodecahedrons, when we include the icosahedron in the combined format of icosydodecahedron and stack them, 12 strands emerge from the inherent stellations. As the icosahedron is the dual of the dodecahedron, one could say that these inherent correspondences of higher order DNA have always been there, but perhaps until and we're consciously aware of them, they remain dormant. Therefore, he goes on, this light activation is based upon a stacking array of icosydodecahedrons, all nested within Macabres or Metatrons cubes. So that's why, a bit further on, I'll be taking us on a guided meditation to spark up this light activation of the Macabre within our own DNA. But let's first think about what we can use it for. Now, while the Macabre is a chariot or a starship that will carry us wherever we want to go, I've just been concentrating for now on using it for healing, involving purification and protection from electromagnetic and cosmic rays, as advised by my guides. I feel maybe it's a bit like being given a super duper twin turbocharged Ferrari with a V8 engine for my birthday, before I've even learned how to drive, let alone pass my driving test. So I've just been sitting in the driving seat and exploring all its features before setting off for strange and wondrous lands. Once it sparks up, you can feel the immense horsepower throbbing and purring under the bonnet. But it also seems to have consciousness, like a spirit guide. Anyway, it seems to be guiding me to hold my horses and use the immensely powerful secret fire to heal any of my outstanding issues. Its flames reach into places that nothing else can or ever could, in my experience. So I've been using it to burn up any old stuff that still hasn't been processed, mostly from my ancestral legacy. And it has also highlighted to me some old traumas and injuries I'm still holding the shadows of in my body that need deeper healing that can only come from this secret fire. So now we have a better idea of what the Macabre is and where it's found in ancient literature and artworks. We've now come to the practical aspect of how to spark up the seed of the daisy flower light activation. Now, if you're comfortable, we'll begin the guided visualization into the Macabre. And I wish to thank Drumvalo Melchizedek and Daisy Foss of the Daisy Centres for inspiring it. So just relax, sitting or lying, it doesn't matter. Now, imagine around your body that there are two joint tetrahedrons, like the ones you can see on the screen. We will call them pyramids for simplicity. The upper pyramid is the male sun tetrahedron, and the lower pyramid is the female earth tetrahedron. And I'm going to be showing you how to get in touch with both of them. But for now, just feel yourself sitting within them as they turn. We're going to take some deep breaths. There'll be about 17 altogether, and the first 6 breaths are mainly for purification. And so as we exhale on those breaths, we visualize pushing out of the body and mind any negative energies. So let's begin by closing our eyes and placing our attention into our hearts. Throughout this meditation, we will be constantly returning our awareness to our hearts, because they are divine portals and instruments of gnosis. Now take the first breath, a full belly breath. As we inhale, still with eyes closed, we raise them as if to look at the top of the upper male pyramid of the sun. Then on the exhale, we look down in the same way through the body, checking in briefly with the heart and then carrying on with our inner gaze down to the lower female pyramid of the earth, and all the time aware of the contamination leaving our bodies. Now we inhale again, up to the sun pyramid, and then on the exhale, again down through the heart portal to the earth pyramid. Now on the third breath, we inhale again up to the sun pyramid and exhale down through the heart to the earth pyramid, all the while being aware of the toxins leaving our bodies. The fourth breath is exactly the same. Inhale up to the sun, then exhale down through the heart portal to the earth, all the while aware of the purification taking place. The fifth breath is as before, up to the top of the upper sun pyramid and then down through the heart to the lower earth pyramid. Again on the sixth breath, up to the top of the upper sun pyramid and then down through the heart to the lower earth pyramid. Now we reach an important transformatory stage. We breathe in as usual for the seventh inhale, but then on the exhale, we imagine a pranic river of white light running straight from the upper sun pyramid down to our navel. There it meets a similar pranic white river of light coming up from the lower earth pyramid. Breathe in and out for the eighth time and see how these two pranic rivers of white light are uniting in the navel area and weaving together to form a round sphere. On the ninth inhale and exhale, we see that the white sphere is growing and beginning to flash. At the 10th inhale, the flashing sphere is changing to a golden colour. Now when we breathe out, we make our mouth into a small hole and exhale by expelling the air under pressure. This expands and pushes out the golden sphere, and it's now surrounding our whole body. On the 11th breath, we inhale and exhale as usual. We can sense how the star tetrahedron is still surrounding us, and the stream of prana is still flowing through our bodies, through the sphere of golden light. On the 12th breath, we inhale and exhale to fill our golden sphere with air. On the 13th inhale and exhale, we bring our awareness back to our hearts. Now, on the 14th breath, we use the energy of our minds to move the golden sphere from the navel up into our hearts. We then feel a great qualitative change as we're transferring our consciousness from the third to the fourth dimension. Now for the 15th breath. Inhale, and as you fill your stomach and your chest with air, you start to activate the Macabre. The two pyramids swirl in opposite directions. The top sun pyramid is turning from right to left, while the lower earth pyramid is turning from left to right, while we just stay still at its calm center. Now we're at the 16th breath. As we inhale and exhale, we become aware of the coccyx. We consciously relax this tailbone as we notice there is a huge plate-like disc coming out of it and sliding out and reaching up to about 18 meters in diameter as it joins up and links our Merkaba starship with the greater sacred geometrical web, the grid of light, or the daisy matrix of the flower of life. On the 17th breath, both the male and female pyramids are swirling so fast it seems as if it's almost at the speed of light. Breathe normally now. Our bodies have reached their full potential, both body and mind and spirit all joined. We are whole and merged with our true nature, the all that is, of the greater cosmos. We feel this powerful source of energy surrounding us with its infinite potency. We luxuriate in the comfort of knowing that we can safely stay within our own personal starship as if we were at home. Like the crab of the sign of Cancer, we carry our own home with us wherever we go. Now that we're in this absolutely pure state of mind, with our light body linked with the full network of the web, we can program the Macabre with our wishes. I've found it's best, although we're asking for what we want and we can ask for whatever we want, it's best to actually frame it, not as a question, but as an affirmation or intention or a command, which holds much more power, such as, it's my intention to receive healing from the chi of the divine web, or I'm purifying all that no longer serves my interests with the prana of the daisy matrix. Or send me protection from the electromagnetic and cosmic ray pollution. You can stay in the Macabre for as long as you like, but for now, gradually return your consciousness to the room. So I can give you a few more tips, and I'll give you a few seconds to do that. I hope you enjoyed that and that you're feeling the benefits of it, even if it's just the first time for you. If you're anything like me, I noticed immediately a lightness of being as I emerged from it. But you'll no doubt be realizing that there's a lot going on within this practice, and it will probably take you several run-throughs to perfect it. I've found it takes some time, for example, to get the two pyramids spinning in opposite directions. At first, it was a little bit like when you're trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. So it took me a little while. But it's worth it, more than worth it, because once it's activated, you feel automatically protected from psychic vampiric phenomena or electromagnetic frequencies from new technology, and also from unhelpful cosmic rays. I've also been putting crystals on my heart during this time to purify and reprogram them. You can ask the Macabre for anything. It really is an Aladdin's cave of wisdom, guidance and healing. And it can carry you, like a TARDIS, to burn up the seeds of karma from the past and of your ancestors. And when the time comes for you to leave your physical body for the last time, it will carry you to your next destination. So let us thank the Macabre for all it's given and shown us today, and come back fully into this reality. I'll see you next time. You've been listening to me, Annie Dieu-Le-Veut. All my books are on Amazon, and if you'd like to support my work, I'm on Patreon as Shaman of Avalon.